to do with politics or studying law, but I pretty much enjoyed it as any delegate who participated in ASMUN. It was a perfect experience. I met a lot of great people over there, and it taught me a lot. It helped me build my character. It certainly taught me a lot about how the model of the United Nations can go in affecting the United Nations as a whole.
What were your expectations at the beginning, Tarek, when you decided to participate in the model?
Well, just like Menna Shafik said, I expected it to be pretty much boring. All the academics that relates to law and politics, I'm basically not interested in all of those academics, but what I found out when I attended my first session, that it wasn't only academic, it was a social experience. You can meet new people, you can talk about all different sorts of topics other than politics and law, and you can learn about the United Nations. How do they work? How can you participate in the United Nations? Maybe if you want to grow, when you grow up to work in the United Nations, they teach you about all of that, and it was a great experience.
Thank you very much, Tarek. That's a lovely input, I guess. You should be all feeling very proud, right?
Yeah, that's the appreciation we have after like 3 years working for such an activity.
Okay, Omar, like you've said, it's been 3 years. And I know that as much as it's a very unique experience and a unique model, and we're going to touch on this aspect as well, but there has been certain problems or obstacles along the way throughout those 3 years. You've already said or talked about the university and how you had to negotiate and convince them. What do you see as other maybe obstacles, so to speak, in the process of birth or development of the model?
It was the same thing here, that the part of such a simulation activities in Ain Shams, it used to be made with a very small budget, which didn't meet our expectation. We have to go with such activity a higher level. So we need more fund that the university used to give for such activities. So we gave certain promises that we work to have sponsors for our activities, but for certain problems and due to bureaucracy to get approvals for sponsors to advertise in Ain Shams universities, we failed to get sponsors. And here came the problem of the fund for ASMUN. That it was a main problem, and it's still a problem, and it's the problem for any student activity in Egypt, that the fund, it takes like 50% of the work. You will never be able to have a conference by the end of the year if you have no fund. You need rooms,
and
you need coffee breaks.
Is it university regulations that are standing in your face? I mean, you said you couldn't get in acceptance of a sponsor within the campus. Is it because it's university regulation, or is it that you couldn't convince or market the idea outside?
No, it's the part is the timing. Like, we have a sponsor ready, but he needs to have his advertising booth within 2 months. But I failed to get him to have a license to advertise in Ain Shams within the 2 months he wants. So it always feels like when I succeed to have a sponsor, I fail to get the approval on time.
On time, so it's bureaucracy, so to speak?
Yeah, it's a whole thing about the bureaucracy of the procedures to issue such a license.
Okay.
Because you need to have a license from the faculty itself and another advanced license from the university itself.
But I guess, I mean, after the great success of 3 consecutive years, the university must be a little bit more flexible and more cooperative when it comes to those processes.
That's true.
And they definitely should allow you all the help possible in the process or procedures, because it's proven to be a great success, like we've listened from the various callers, that it is very helpful and beneficial. So I think it is a duty on the universities to support such extracurricular activity for the sake of the students themselves, and they shouldn't be part of the obstacles in the way. Okay, we have Ahmed Ghazi. Hello?
Hello?
Sorry to have kept you waiting.
No problem.
Go ahead, Ahmed.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Hello?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead with your comment, Ahmed.
Okay, yes. I just want to say what a wonderful experience ASMUN has been for me. I was a delegate for 2 consecutive years. I wanted to apply for secretariat in the 2nd year, but something happened to me. I just couldn't. I participated both years in the Security Council, and I just want to say that honestly, I was looking forward to every session. I was just counting days for Friday to come, and I would wake up and go to ASMUN's session.
Be honest,
It was
Ahmed.
amazing. I just want to say what a wonderful experience it was.
What was the most important thing that you think you've learned, or the thing that was added to you, Ahmed, from this experience?
Well, as Tarek, the previous caller, said, it's exactly as a social. It's a social experience as much as it's like an academic experience. Just to have met these guys you're sitting with is just something that I wouldn't have exchanged for the world. As for the academic side, I've improved greatly my research skills, my presentation skills. I've learned a lot about how to speak in public. That was a major problem for me. And as Tarek also said, it brings around people from all fields of life. I mean, Tarek is an engineer. I'm a student at the Faculty of Commerce. So you don't have to be a law student or interested in just one thing to be able to participate in ASMUN. It's totally for anyone who wants to learn and improve themselves.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much, Ahmed.
Thank you.
This is the lovely experience of students who've been there as delegates and how beneficial it was for them. I want to ask you, Ali, your first encounter with the model of United Nations and Ain Shams University was as a delegate. And of course, you grew up and gradually became the Secretary General. But the very first experience, what kind of training, exposure, learning that you've actually acquired throughout those few months in preparation for the full-day conference?
My first experience, as I said, is a delegate. So as a delegate, you have 8 sessions with your secretariats giving you the materials and preparing you to the conference. My second year is the secretariat phase. Secretariat phase, you have a lot of trainings. You've been trained on whatever you're going to do on the session, as presentation, games, skills, whatever you do in the session, you have a previous training before doing so. And the third year as a secretary general, I helped coordinate this trainings for the secretariats, because the secretariats pass this experience and this materials to the delegates. It's a cycle. You're a delegate, then a secretary, then a high board. What you taken as an experience through these phases, you give it to the next delegate.
But you've been through specific training. I mean, like some of the callers have spoke about presentation skills, interpersonal skills. Were you given a specific training on these areas, or do you think these are acquired skills along the way?
No, as I said, it's through the games, for example. In the game, for example, there is the negotiation game. It's like you make teams of the delegates, and they start to negotiate with the other teams, for example, for oil, for water, for food.
And that's how you can use your skills, persuasive. Great. Okay. The steps that you followed, I mean, as founders of the model, after getting the acceptance and preparing the idea and the basics, we know that there was something very unique about your model in particular, that it grew up already big, I mean, well established. So tell us about this uniqueness, Menna.
Okay. Well, basically, because we're very new, we're relatively new, because this activity has been going on in other campuses for so long. So we had the spotlight on us. Everyone was expecting us to ruin the whole thing. So starting the model with 2 councils, and then making them big enough into 3 councils, and then having an established OC, and then going to the Global Model United Nations and actually having our delegates apply as delegates in the Global Model United Nations and taking them to Geneva. This was big. This was huge. Also, I think the uniqueness would lie in the certificates that we give out to the delegates. They are UN based, like they have the UN stamp and everything. So it makes them feel like real diplomats.